Hey there, you epic soul. This is Alec, once again, here with a reminder of how important it is to feel your emotions, all of them. The time for running away from our emotions is past. The time for diving deep within and getting to the depth of who we really are and accessing those deep emotions that we used to avoid, that we used to run away from, that we used to resist. Well, we cannot do that anymore. We cannot do it anymore. Now, in order for us to be fully authentic, we gotta feel everything. And this is why in the Transcend with Iboga process, everything is designed for you to feel your emotions fully. All the exercises that we do, they build on each other to help you go within these emotions, find out what they are, and transmute and release them, or transcend them, if you will. So, yes, I know that it can be pretty tricky, but it is so rewarding. I mean, because ultimately this is the goal. You want to be fully yourself, and it just so happens that you are a human being at the moment. I know a lot of us, when we have our spiritual awakening, initially we want to kind of forsake our human self and just embody our divine self all the time, and just be doing all that spiritual bypassing, it's called, where you kind of just negate your emotions and you deny that you are feeling a certain way because you see it as something bad, or that you shouldn't feel like that, or that you should be happy all the time or joyful all the time. And the ironic thing is that the pathway to get to a point where you can be joyful seemingly all the time is actually by feeling all those emotions that you've been avoiding from feeling. Just like a baby. The baby is its baseline is joy and happiness. You see it in their eyes. All the babies, they have that spark that everybody can notice. It's like so full of life. But then baby has a need that needs to be met, and suddenly there's a flip. It happens very, very fast. It starts yelling, crying, and doing all these catharsis movements and all of that. And when the need is met, what happens? It goes back to the baseline. And so this is actually high emotional intelligence, and this is what we aim to be. And so, even myself right now, I'm talking to you, and I'm not immune from quote unquote negative emotions. In fact, about 30 minutes to an hour ago, I was having a deep moment of just emotional catharsis. Tears flowing down my cheeks, and some anger and some energy, and many things. And I went through it all with greatness and ease. Why? Because I allow myself to feel these things. I know that ultimately these are a way showers. They're showing me something within me that's not in full alignment with my true self. Because my true self is that divine self, is unconditional love. Ultimately, it doesn't ever judge. It doesn't perceive things as being negative. It just can love. Ultimately, it's all that it can do. So, and right now we're also having that human experience, and there's a reason for it. If we didn't have anything to learn from this, if we were just meant to be unconditional love and just love everything and things like that, well, we would be having that experience. And so right now it's a process of remembrance, and to access that remembrance, it is necessary to dive deep within these emotions and feel them. And what we'll gradually understand as a result of that is that more and more that we feel the things that we've been avoiding from feeling, the easier it gets to get back to a blissful baseline. Like right now, the way I feel, I'm phenomenal. I feel so much joy, so much confidence, so much trust, that this message is going to be reaching exactly who needs to hear this in the moment. And an hour ago, I was feeling lost and despair and things like that. But the process that I do, and that's something that I teach in my process of Transcend with Iboga, is something called holding dichotomies, which means being able to perceive two states of being simultaneously. Now, this may sound like something pretty complicated, but really it's pretty simple. But it's simple once you understand, or understand rather, the truth about who you are, and the truth about your eternal life and your divine self that is one with unconditional love. And so within us, we all have that source of unconditional love that is ever flowing and never stops. We're always connected to it. In fact, we're so connected to it that sometimes it can give us the illusion of disconnection from it. But that's just because of how connected we are to it. It's one of those little very ironic and paradoxical thing. But so we always have access to that divine self that's unconditionally loving and that has infinite trust, infinite love, infinite peace, is always at peace, never has been any else but peace. And at the same time, we have the human self, or the ego, you can say, and that's going through all of these experiences and can feel all the spectrum of emotions like despair, anger, unfulfillment, unworthiness, all of these things. And so, and ultimately, when I say that it's possible to hold both states of being at the same time, is that you allow yourself to fully go within the emotion while keeping the perspective, the observer effect, where you kind of observe yourself going through it, and you do that with compassion for yourself and with love for yourself. And so that love, that compassion allows the emotion to be felt, and it allows it fully. And that's the key, because a lot of us, when we were feeling our emotions when we were young, it was suppressed. A lot of our parents didn't want us to feel. They would make us distract with devices and stuff, or go hide in a corner, or literally punish us for feeling emotions, or get angry at us for feeling emotions. So we learned, deeply ingrained, to suppress feelings, the negative emotions, or the emotions that were not allowed in our past. And so this is deeply ingrained within us, and there's a process to make us feel these emotions. And then what happens is that this creates space within us, and it creates greater ease, greater peace, because it's like we're not contracted anymore, where we release the tensions that these patterns create within us. And so by allowing yourself to feel the emotions through the knowing of the divine perspective, and knowing that there's a reason for everything, and knowing that ultimately who you are is perfect in this moment, right here, right now, and stop to judge yourself. And so once you do that, then you allow yourself to feel, let's say, the anger that you feel in a certain situation. And with the allowance, the anger doesn't have any limitation anymore. And since you're preferably by yourself when you do these kinds of process, well, you can let it all out. And sometimes when I do this, I just take a pillow and yell on top of my lungs, or I go in the ocean or something, or I start hitting on my couch, or like different things like that just kind of give us that catharsis release, and it's super beneficial. And so, and of course, I mean, when you go through a process as intense as Transcend with Iboga, the 9-day retreat, well, it's like putting everything it amplifies all of these potentiality for emotions. We do some intense breathwork sessions that make you go deep, deep, deep within the subconscious and within these emotions. And it's like a gradual intensification of the energy so that you can access deeper and deeper and deeper layers of yourself. And then we release it all, usually with a big scream or with some other modalities of healing that you'll discover during the retreat here. And also with somatic movements, bioenergetics, just doing movements and repetition that can access these parts of our body that have this innate ability to release trauma, to release the tensions that are present within there. And so it's pretty amazing when you see these releases. And sometimes it doesn't even have to be accompanied with a story of like, this and that happened, or I'm feeling this because why. And sometimes it's just the body itself, its own consciousness, the body consciousness that goes through this catharsis moment, and you start to release all these emotions and you don't even know what they are, but you feel amazing afterwards. You just feel like you're on cloud 9 and you can go and run a marathon. It's super amazing. And so, and it's great, and that this is the key ultimately, is that we're peeling back all these layers and layers and layers so that you just deeply, deeply, deeply understand with every fiber of your being the truth of your infinite and eternal nature, and that you are divine love, and that basically you are a spark of the divine, and as such, I mean, everything is possible. Everything is possible. And this is why I say that the whole process, its purpose is in shining your light, is in activating your light and allowing it so that you may shine. And your light, when it shines, it can do so when it's unobstructed by the barriers and limitations and traumas and all of these things that kind of block it or shadow it. And so that's why, to release these barriers, we gotta get into that shadow, we gotta get into that darkness, into that obscurity. And what happens as a result of this is that we shine the light of our true self on that obscurity, and then once it's seen for what it is, and most of the time what it really is an illusion, is a belief that was created, is a lie that you've convinced yourself for eons potentially, but it's not the truth, because the truth is oneness, the truth is love, the truth is unity, the truth is divinity. And so anything that's whispering you something else than that is a lie. And so by shining the light of truth on it, and by doing all these processes that we do in the Transcend with Iboga retreat, well, it's possible to transcend these lies. And as a result of that, then the light can just shine without being obstructed, without being blocked, so to speak. And this is the whole point of everything that we do. So I set the intention before every video that this reaches exactly those who need to hear it. So please, if you have been touched in any way by this message here, please let me know in the comments. Let me know something that you understood through this video. And if you want, I would really, really appreciate that you share this with your network here, because these are the type of messages that more people need to hear about. And so I just want to extend my deep appreciation to you. Know that you are wonderful, you are absolutely amazing, and if when I say that you have some resistance within you, well, that's just a proof to me that there is something inside of you that's not really in full alignment with truth. Because the truth is that you are amazing. The truth is that you are powerful beyond measure. The truth is that you are loved. The truth is that you're just this wonderful soul that's here to co-create heaven on earth alongside all of us. And so thank you for being you. I deeply, deeply appreciate you. Much love. Bye-bye.